people about the Harry Potter franchise?
Surprise people?
Yeah.
I always get surprised, to be honest, at how well attended these things are. So like right now. This is crazy for a Wednesday night. You guys walk around.
This is Utah on a Wednesday night. This is us.
Yeah, but this is thousands of miles away from where I live. This is incredible for me. This is awesome.
Love you. Oh, did I say that out loud? Using my inside voice. Okay. What was it like growing up in the spotlight for so many years? And were you as mischievous as the Weasley twins were as children?
Yeah, I mean the first part of the question, it was all right. You know, we were always, I think James and I always said that we had the best of the situation, be it that we had the perks of the job. So we've been able to do some really cool things on promotional trips, like play football on the Bernabeu around Madrid's ground and stuff like that, and get away with it. And then in terms of, sorry, what was the other part of the question? I'll tell you.
Were you just as wily
mischievous?
Mischievous as those boys?
Maybe, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I wouldn't say we went to the full extent of Fred and George back in, of all the stuff they did. Like I never ran into an exam hall with a firework.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Although I wish someone did that on my exams. But yeah, we did do one or two fun things.
Okay, what part of your life in character do you most wish was in real life? So, what part of your character do you wish was part of your real life?
I wish I owned a joke shop. That'd be awesome, yeah. I mean, maybe it'd fit around here, I don't know, it could be here.
Oh, thank you. All right. Which creation in Weasley Wizards Wheezes was your favorite?
The skiving snack boxes.
Did everybody hear that?
Skiving snack boxes, yeah. Actually, one of the, a question what comes up every now and then is, did we take anything from set? So
I think that's actually in here.
Yeah, if we come across it, yeah. And actually, one of the things I do actually have is one of the puking pastilles.
I don't know if that's what I would have taken.
But it was easy to get under the cloak.
Oh,
yeah. Please don't record that.
Nobody tell anyone. What is your favorite spell?
Favorite spell? I suppose the Expecto Patronum spell, because it was the one thing that we always used to, the one scene actually, in the Order of the Phoenix film, is that we filmed that, and it was different ways of saying Expecto Patronum. So.
What is your favorite George Weasley line from either the books or the movies?
For me, it was the easiest one to remember. And it was, morning.
Thank you. Do that one more time. Oh, they're getting sticky. What was your favorite part about being a part of the magic of Harry Potter?
There was so many. I mean, filming it was really cool. I wouldn't say bleaching my eyebrows. That wasn't.
You had to bleach your eyebrows?
Yeah, we had to dye our hair and do that. That wasn't a favourite. But I suppose the promotional side of it. Well, and I've said it before, but things like this is awesome. It's such a cool experience to be able to do and travel the world and see things with it.
Who likes you guys? Other than your own character, who do you love the most from the Potter universe and why?
Gilderoy Lockhart. Because sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it, and you don't do that.
What do you miss most about being on the Harry Potter set?
I suppose the main thing that you miss for doing something for so long is the normality of it. So it would be normal to see a group of goblins walking down to the cafeteria. It would be this normality of literally like Monday to Friday and filming in these amazing sets with the best filmmakers in the world at the time, and to be able to do that's one of the things I miss.
I think we all want to see goblins just walking around. How did you like being a redhead for so many years?
It was awesome. It was all right. It really didn't bother me at all. Like there's a funny thing. I remember when we first got the part, and they said, "Okay, great, you've got the part. Can you?" This is on say the Saturday or the Friday night. Got the phone call to say we've got the part. Can you come in Monday or Tuesday to get your hair dyed? So we went to the studios and we're in the hair and makeup room, and there was literally a door over there, and we went in, and then I'm looking in the mirror as this hair dye is going on. And little did I know that was going to be me for 12 and a half years.
Well, Gingis have magical powers, so I think the fact that you were Gingy for so long probably got some of those.
I think it must have done. The funniest thing is that there was a paper back home that once did a thing about the stigma around redheads, and they used a picture of James and I, which I think we got away with. I think doing it for so long, we're honorary redheads.
Honorary, I think so, right? What has been the greatest benefit to your life from being a part of the Harry Potter films?
Greatest benefit is I've never worked a day in my life. I just enjoy everything. Every time I've been able to do these things and hearing the stories of what people's experiences, reading the books or watching the films, that's awesome to me. That's awesome.
What is something you feel you learned about George while playing him in the movies?
I learned that. I was learning a lot because all the books hadn't come out when we started filming. So I actually learned what happened to the character when everybody else did. When the books came out, you're literally. I know there's people who read through it quickly to see what's happening. But when a book would come out, I'd literally scan each page to see where George's name comes up. So I'd learn that way.
How did you find out you were cast as George in the Harry Potter films? What was your reaction?
Well, we found out that James and I got the part. My mum picked up the phone, and it was the head casting director, and she said, "Hi, is that the mum of Fred and George?" And mum was, "Pardon? Oh yes, that's right.
What did they do?
Yeah, so we went down and got that, but we didn't actually find out who was Fred and who was George until the day of the read-through. And so the read-through is when everybody, when you read through the script. So most of the cast are there, and the director, and J.K. Rowling, David Heyman, Chris Columbus, and you all sit in a big square and read through the script, start to finish. And we still didn't know who was who. So we saw Janet and we said, "Who's Fred and who's George?" And she said, "Oh, good one, yeah." No, we really don't know. So then you see Janet walk around the table and to J.K. Rowling, Chris Columbus, and David Heyman, and they turn around and chat. Janet comes back round. "Okay, yeah, James, you're Fred, Oliver, you're George." So we don't know to this day how they came into that idea.
They rock, paper, scissored it?
No, I think they had a really important meeting back in LA and they just forgot to pass the notes over.
I like the rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. more than likely, yeah.
You and your brother were the funniest in the movies. What do you think was the funniest, who do you think was the funniest person on set?
Me. No, I think funniest on set, Michael Gambon. Definitely, he's got a very dry sense of humour. But he used to drive. He's got an array of really cool cars, and he once drove in his Ferrari. It's like a Testarossa, and he was in his full Dumbledore outfit, sitting in this car as there was a tour group going around with all these school kids, and he's going through some lines. And there's literally like these school kids come out the door and see Dumbledore behind the wheel of a Ferrari. And Michael just looks up and just goes, "Same school," and just goes back to reading.
I think most of us would pay to see that.
It was definitely a unique thing to see.
Okay, this might be along the same line, but what is your funniest story from your time filming the Harry Potter movies? Was there anything funnier than that?
that I can say in front of, there's a few children here, so there's a few I can't. Funny story. Yeah, there was one on the second movie, and over the road from the studios, they were building some offices, and we used to have radios to communicate to guys to get onto set and things, because you got to be told when to go on set and things. And we realised that Channel 7 was actually the same frequency as the builders over the road. And Bonnie Wright, James and myself, and Rupert and Lou Youngblood, we saw these guys were there working, and Bonnie gets it. And she was probably 11 at the time, and puts like a hand over the microphone and starts, "Okay, guys, you can go home now. We got some bad weather coming in, you can go." And we're looking through binoculars at these guys, and they're literally down in their tools and walking off. And then you hear this guy come over the radio, and I'll abbreviate what he said, but it was along the lines of, "What on earth are you doing? Please go home."
She almost got people fired. Don't do that. That's pretty funny though. Have you learned something in the films that you... Have you learned something in the films that you still keep doing in your daily life, and what is it?
What do you mean? What the character does? Or?
Yeah. Like, is there something that you learned from the films that you, as you were doing them, that you still do in your daily life?
Yeah, I suppose if you're going to talk in public, or even talk in general, just like general voice warm-up stuff, which can be as simple as humming. So if you've ever got to talk in front of class or an office thing, just do a bit of humming to yourself beforehand. That makes it a bit easier.
You look a little crazy, but it's good. It works out.
Yeah. Just make sure you're not in an elevator full of people when you do it.
Or do. It might be more fun that way. What part of your personality is more like George's?
I suppose being a bit more light-hearted, and trying to see the light-hearted side. Like if something's going really wrong, you kind of laugh it off to a point. Sometimes I really don't. And I'm quite glad my brother's not here, because he'd totally contradict me right now. But yeah, kind of seeing the funny side in a lot of things.
Nice. What are some of the craziest internet rumors you've heard about yourself that are completely false?
The main one is that James and I swapped characters. And we got found out, and they had to reshoot the whole film. If they had to do that, I'd have been fired on the spot. But yeah, so stuff like that never happened.
That's ridiculous. Okay, this is a long one. What has been your favorite part besides the fans about traveling and doing these events? And what has been your favorite part about Utah?
Favorite thing apart from
Meeting fans during these kinds of events.
During these kinds of events is being able to go. When we were in Madrid, we actually left the premiere early to go and watch Metallica. And at the end, what song was it? And they were playing Sad But True, and at the end of the first intro, Lars Ulrich put his sticks up to where we were and went like that. That was quite cool. Yeah, in like a one motion. Whether that was on purpose or not, I don't know. And then in terms of Utah, like today we were able to go to Park City and check that out, which I haven't been able to do before. So yeah, it's just really nice to be able to come back.
It was a nice day to go to Park City.
It was perfect, today. Yeah, perfect weather for it.
How has being yeah, you can cheer for that. Don't be scared. You guys are such a polite audience.
And coming to Sandy as well. That's nice to hear.
Sandy's very pretty. Go to West Jordan next. That's our hood, right? That's where I'm from. How has Ben being a part of Harry Potter made you who you are today?
I honestly couldn't tell you. Because it's when I was 14 I got the part, and I suppose you're kind of just, I don't know, I suppose a lot more acceptance of where you travel and appreciative of cultures and ways things are done at different places, you know.
What was your favorite filming location?
Favorite filming location would be Oxford.
Why?
Because it was where we filmed on the Goblet of Fire anyway, when they have the dance lessons. And I remember filming that scene, but it was a really good social scene as well outside of filming. So there'd be a lot of nights out, a lot of meals, a lot of going to the pub and stuff. And also in filming that as well, in the room where we filmed it, next door to that was basically where Oliver Cromwell ran the country when he was madman in charge of the country back in English history days. So that was quite cool, like learning history as well.
Very cool. I still think Metallica's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
What was your favorite part of playing a Weasley twin, and how like your character are you in real life? So how much like your character are you in real life? And what was your favorite part of playing a Weasley?
Favorite part of playing Fred and George, definitely being able to do the joke shop in the 6th movie, because there's not many times that your character has a whole set built for them. So we were able to really get involved in that. And what was the other part of the question?
Yep.
Something about...
What?
How I
yes. Yes, thank you.
Was this one your question?
No, she just is paying attention.
And in terms of how much like I am with George, I suppose to a point, yeah, we've got the same height.
Every time.
Yeah, although I've got a better ear, a better sense of hearing than he does.
What was the greatest thing you learned as being George, and what could you have taught George? So what's something that George didn't know that maybe you thought he should have known?
I don't know. Probably something I know now that George didn't was don't get in a forward angular with a bird, with an owl on your lap in a cage, because owls poop and they flap their wings and it's nowhere to escape. Yeah.
Don't do that. Doesn't sound good at all. Did you and your brother audition together for the goal of playing the Weasley twins, or did you hope for different roles?
No, luckily being twins, you kind of know what role you're going for. And in reading the books, because the first three books had come out when we went for the film, so we knew what the characters were, but it was an open audition we went to. So we went to there was probably thousands of people going for different parts of the film in Leeds where we were. And they gave us a slip of paper just like the one you're holding now, with a line, and say, okay, come back in, I don't know, 3 hours time. So we realised that we were the only sets of twins who we saw. There's quite a few sets of twins there. We were the only ones who weren't wearing the same clothes, which isn't probably a good idea when you're going for identical twins. So we went to the department store over the road, got the same matching t-shirts, got back in line, and then, went along and they said, okay, you guys obviously going for the twins, in you go. And it was on the back of that audition that we got called back and back. I actually did a job touring play this summer, and one of the stops was in Leeds, and I was actually able to see the exact room we went for our first audition, which was quite nostalgic. That's quite cool.
Do you still have that shirt?
It's around somewhere, yeah.
It's a pretty that was a good idea.
We wore it actually to every audition, so maybe the director thought these guys need the money. I don't know, but it certainly came in good luck.
Nice. If you could visit any set again, for example, Gryffindor, Common Room, Great Hall, which would it be and why?
Probably the Great Hall. I went on a studio tour at Leavesden at the Warner Bros. London's tour, if anyone's done it. But you go in the Great Hall there, and it was the first time I'd been back in probably about 6 years or so. And I was surprised how emotional it was. But it was funny going into it, seeing it all dressed up, and you can't touch this, you can't do that. I remember going in with Rupert, my brother, and playing soccer. Just going into football and having a kick about, which you wouldn't dream about doing now. So stuff like that was really cool.
The question that I just pulled out was, did you keep any prop from the set? And I think you already went over that, so
yeah.
I will pull another question. Hi, adorable. Do you think what do you think George's greatest quality is or was?
His greatest quality, I think, being able to make see the best of a situation. So in the Goblet of Fire, when they realised that they can't enter the Triwizard Tournament, they set up their own bookies and started betting on the Triwizard Tournament that way. And then subsequently losing all the money, but then Harry gives them the money, so they start Weezers, Wizards, Weezers. Making the best of a bad situation.
Nice. Is there anything you've ever wanted to ask the fans?
Now's my chance. I don't know, I suppose on average, how many times do people watch the films?
And there's your answer.
Yeah, because it just keeps going on. So I think when we did it, it was probably, I probably watched the films in total twice each.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot
How
more.
many of you watch the films more than twice each? All right.
Hey, keep going up. Keep that.
Thank you, Jeff. My water bottle's fancy.
Wait, is Arrowhead not good enough?
Sorry, I've been talking a lot for about 3 hours, so. What is your favorite Wizarding World treat?
Treat. Yeah, it'd be the chocolate frog. Yeah.
You guys know where you can get those chocolate frogs, right?
$10 each.
Did you really, oh, you already answered this, but I'm gonna ask it.
Okay.
Did you really switch roles with your brother? Was there a time you didn't get caught, and is it still in the movies? So.
Funny question. Yeah, it's actually, no. No.
We already went over
Yeah,
that.
we went over that
Okay.
one.
I wanted to read the question. What is your favorite European food or sweet, that we don't have here in the US? What are we missing out on?
Cadbury's chocolate. Like, but I mean proper Cadbury's chocolate.
So what we
Not the
have is
imported.
not...
Well, not since Kraft bought it and they diluted it.
Okay, so you need to go there and you need to get the real stuff.
Yeah,
is
and
what
they've
you're
actually
telling
got a
us.
place called Cadbury World, which is the factory. In Bourneville, in Birmingham. It's my city, so yeah. That's how I know it.
What? This is all about the food. What is your favorite Birdie Bot's every flavor beans flavor?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've had one, because I sometimes get like bogey, something bad, and that definitely would be my favourite.
What is your favorite Harry Potter book and film, and why?
Favourite book? I don't know. Prisoner of Azkaban, maybe? And then, yeah, because that was the first time I realised how complex it can get. Because I remember reading through it and thinking, I've worked this out. And then the whole time turner comes into the story and I was just completely blown away by it. And in terms of the film, to watch would be the Deathly Hallows Part 1. And to film, although they all blend into one after a while, you kind of think, was that the film? Probably the Goblet of Fire.
What was your most happy moment on set? And then the one that stuck out the most. So 2 different questions.
Happiest moment on set? There was quite a few. I suppose anything with the whole Weasley family was really cool. Be it going to the Quidditch World Cup, or that whole campsite sequence, that was really cool. Or the Yule Ball, because there was at the end of the Yule Ball, actually, and unfortunately didn't make it in the film, but we actually had a concert made by the Weird Sisters who actually played a gig, which was basically Radiohead with Jarvis Cocker as the frontman. And they did about 45 minutes of songs what no one had heard before. Had a mosh pit going, Warwick Davis was crowd surfing. Really cool.
Dang it, now I want to see that. And then, is that the most memorable as well?
Yeah, that would probably be the most memorable of being there. Yeah. Although not being able to go onto the Great Horse. Ooh.
Are you okay? Okay.
Yeah. Although apparently not being able to go onto the Great Hall set by the US Secret Service because President Obama's daughter had her birthday party there, and there was literally like armed guards on the roof. And they were like, why haven't you not gone? You got your pass on you. And I'm in like a full Hogwarts outfit at the time. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna walk back this way now. So that was pretty memorable for one reason or
Oh my
another.
goodness, yes. What do you miss about filming the Harry Potter movies?
Yeah, again, probably the normality of it. So being able to just get involved and just being able to do one thing or another. And just, the normality of filming every day.
We won't share the answer to this one. We'll make sure we keep it here.
Okay.
But what was the best and the worst thing about working with your brother?
Right. Best thing about working with your brother is if you're late, you can blame someone else.
Hey, like whenever
And the worst thing about working with your brother is if he's late, he can blame someone else.
Nice. I see what you did there. What was your favorite scene to film out of all the Harry Potter movies?
Yeah, probably the goblet in the Goblets of Fire, the Yule Ball scene, because there was we actually had 3 weeks of intense dance lessons privately before that. So the first day was literally like it is in the film. You've got these girls from the dance school who were there to teach us what to do, and we're all just like, hi, really shy. And then by the end of it, you learn how to do a ballroom dance, which is really cool. And I think if you watch the film of about a 2.5 minute sequence, a shoulder turn makes it into the final cut. So maybe my dancing wasn't as good as I remember it, but actually filming the scenes were really cool.
You're all gonna go home and watch that now, right?
Yeah.
You're not even gonna wait till tomorrow.
No.
Okay, what life lessons? Oh, are there any aspiring actors out here? Anybody want to be an actor? Okay, we'll just wait. What are the life lessons that you and James took home from the cast and the crew of the Harry Potter series that you'd like to tell aspiring actors? Also, what are some of the funniest bloopers that you witnessed while filming the scenes?
Right, so in terms of lessons, is practice and prepare for if you're acting with it.
Did you have a moment?
Yeah, there's a few, like you've got to practice it. And then also just believe in what you're going to be doing. So if you're doing a certain scene, so there was one scene later on where I had to, where I was literally crying. I had to cry on the whole for I don't know how long, like bawling my eyes out. And I asked Judy Walters, what's the best way to do that? She was saying like, prepare before you go on set, do it in your dressing room. So almost like emotionally you engage yourself into that situation and just go straight on and do it. Don't make a joke with anyone. So that way you actually live it for that moment. And then the other part of the question was...
Favorite
It
blooper?
was like your favorite
Bloopers.
bloopers. So anything from behind the scenes, bloopers that you just thought was fantastic.
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, Rupert was always really good for laughing. Thus making us laugh, and we do other things as well to try and get each other going. It's called corpsing, if you can make someone else laugh. But there was one scene where in I can't remember which film it was now, but yeah, it was the Prisoner of Azkaban. So Sirius Black has escaped, and there's a scene where basically all the students are in the Great Hall sleeping, and Michael Gambon's walking around the set. And they actually put a fart box sound recorder in someone's sleeping bag, and they kept setting it off throughout the whole scene.
What is a memory you will never forget during the filming of Harry Potter? I think you just told us, fart boxing people.
Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah, there's so many random ones, like walking around, and Liam Gallagher, the lead singer from Oasis, walking on.
I thought you were gonna like take it back. I was like,
You know?
okay, fine if you want.
Just hanging out?
Just hanging out, yeah. So stuff like that was really cool.
When was the moment you realized how crazy popular the Harry Potter phenomenon was?
The first time I realised, I suppose James and I, we were 16 and we were in Cancun, and we'd never really been outside of Europe, and I think it was probably my first time outside of Europe anyway at that point. And being in the sea, James and I were just throwing a ball around in the ocean, and this lady swam over. And she was like, "You Fred?" And James said, "Yes." And she was like, "Okay," just swam back. Then we kind of realised then that it was quite a worldwide thing.
Nice. What inspired you to audition for the film?
Honest answer, there's two reasons. One, to be in a film, so we knew, and two, it was a day off school. And we thought, why not? If you're gonna do something, do it properly.
Nice.
But I think that was almost bringing in the whole Fred and George thing as well. It's the type of thing they do.
You can clap for that.
Yeah.
You guys are so well behaved. You're a well-behaved audience.
It's like a load of parents right now going to stay in school, you can't leave.
You can get a little crazy. Besides being able to perform magic, is there something from the wizarding world, such as an element or object, that you would like to be real?
Yeah, a portkey. Which, those who aren't too familiar, it's basically an object what's enchanted, so it'll teleport you to somewhere else very quickly. So like the travel time yesterday, I had to get up at 4 a.m. local to my time, which was about, 8 p.m. your time, or 10 p.m. your time, the day before, to get here for 4 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. So there's a bit of travelling involved. And then I had to deal with the nice people at the airport on the immigration door, who were great. But then if it was a portkey, you could just get straight in and out.
That would be really good.
Yeah, a lot easier. And the baggage allowance would probably be a lot easier as well. So.
Who was the real class clown on set?
Probably James and I, as a collective, yeah, and Rupert as well, the three of us.
Rupert seemed to have a lot of shenanigans going on.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun actually, because it takes a lot of time to make a film, so a lot of times they were making they were setting things up, so you'd have hours upon hours to have fun, or you're supposed to be working, or you're supposed to, but we ended up playing, getting quite decent at ping pong, playing darts with a crossbow.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. There's a whole range of stuff, but definitely don't do the latter. Yeah.
Is it easier to go out in the US or in the UK without people recognizing you?
Probably the UK, because the accent stands out a lot over here.
Which fans are the more over the top, UK or US?
Yeah, I'd probably say I think because the cool thing, especially, I'm not just saying it, but especially about this part of the country, people are a lot more likely to come up and say, "Hey, how you doing? That was really good." As opposed to back home, it's like people's trying to get a sly photo. Just come and say hello.
And we just take our photos and say hi.
Yeah.
Selfie!
Which makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Do you have a funny story about an obsessed fan? That you can share in a family
A family-friendly environment, yeah. Funny story.
Or would you like to make one?
I didn't get that.
If you don't have one, would you like to?
No, so, yeah, I mean, when you go around these places, you do get some people who are really excitable and really excited to see you. And the funniest one was this girl was literally couldn't talk, and her dad was just laughing at her the whole time. And I said, "Is she all right?" He was like, "I don't care." It's just, but I think for him it was payback for something else. So it was awkward on my part.
Who was your favorite professor?
Lockhart.
I heard you and your brother skipped school to audition for the movies. Did your parents know and approve of the skipping, or were they upset that you missed school?
These are really well-informed questions, aren't they? Honestly, people have submitted these. We didn't put them in ourselves. Yeah, Mum and Dad knew. Mum and Dad actually, they drove us there. So
I think you were underage, so they had to
yeah,
be
we were
there,
14.
right? Yeah.
They took us along. It was an adventure for the whole family. And it was very much, my mum got a phone call actually telling her about the audition. So she literally just stuck her head around the door and said, "Do you guys want to do it?" which is cool. You know, like our family, we're very much a case of if you don't try, you'll never know. And I think that's, to me, that's the way it should be. So yeah, they were definitely involved.
If you could play another part in the Harry Potter films, which part would you play?
Probably Fred, the costume was Fred.
Come on.
Okay. Okay. What do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
Playing golf. Yeah, big thing.
Do we have any golfers in Utah?
I actually played many years ago here at a municipal course. And I remember the first tee was literally into the Rockies. Yeah, it's awesome, yeah.
Which fictional character from the Harry Potter series would you be the most excited to meet in real life?
Real life. Probably it would have to be a famous person, so you probably wouldn't know who they were otherwise.
But the character?
But the character would be,
Yeah.
Victor Crumb. Yeah. Quidditch superstar, yeah.
Did you guys do any Weasley-esque pranks on set?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. As I say, they varied from, you know, there was pretending someone had lost their job, light-hearted stuff, to simply, there was one, an easy one I could talk about was one when every TV and all the trailers when we were on location, every TV was the same make and everything, so the remote control would work on each one. And my dad told me this years ago. Anyway, so I did it with Rupert. So we were in his trailer, and James and I both had a remote in our hand because we were sitting down watching the TV, and basically convinced him that when you walk closer towards the TV, the volume goes up. If like one of us would bang on the table and it would change the channel, and we kept that going for quite a while. So it's quite a good one if you want to use it.
No, they're not, Lupit. Now you know how I
That's
feel.
awesome.
Hey, I
If
can
you
tell
had to
Ethan
change
Avery's in the park.
anything about your character in the movies, what would you change?
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I don't think I
This one's
would.
married.
I don't think I would.
You can cheer for that. I think we all agree. Would you win in a Quidditch match out of all the cast? Or who would win in a Quidditch match?
I don't know. I think I'd definitely want to be a beater, though, if we were to play Quidditch, because that's a lot more fun. You're the guy causing the trouble. Yeah.
I see a theme here. Have you and James ever done any weird twin things, like have a conversation when you're sleeping, or dressed the same and didn't realize it until you saw each other?
Yeah, I'm going to ruin an illusion here. I don't believe in that telepathy rubbish. Yeah, I don't believe that's a thing. So no, not still.
Okay.
Not at all.
Do you have any upcoming projects? I already know this because I IMDb'd him earlier. Film, TV, or otherwise that we should be looking out for?
Upcoming, I did a play over the summer, which is really cool to do. And then I've actually got to go to a screening in, I think it's January or February, of a film I did, which is a true story about a guy he's blind, Blind Dave, his name is. Well, his name's Dave Healy, but he's called Blind Dave. And he ran the 7 marathons in 7 days in 7 continents, first blind guy to do that, partially impaired, so it's a story about him.
Nice. I'm gonna add something to this.
Okay.
Other than your brother, which of the cast members were you the closest to on set? What cast member do you stay in touch with the most? I added the other than your brother.
Yeah, other than my brother, but yeah, that would be an easy answer. Yeah, I mean, filming, yeah, Rupert, definitely. Almost like daily basis, we'd always be hanging out. And in terms of keeping in touch afterwards, quite a few of the guys. One of my best mates is Luke Youngblood, who played Lee Jordan in the first 2 films. You know, like we've known each other for years, and ever since then, he only did the first 2 movies, but we stayed in touch all the time ever since. So there's been some really cool lifelong friendships from it.
You may have already kind of answered this question. What is your favorite thing about the Harry Potter fan base?
fan base is that it seems to be evolving all the time.
We don't go away.
It's always there, and now there's like a new generation of people. So there's guys who, I remember meeting a couple with a kid, and they were saying that they went to see the first film for their first date, and their kid was about 7 or 8 years old at the time. So it came like full circle. There's a new generation of fans coming in, and it's also cool how respectful they are about the whole brand and everything, which is awesome.
Did the scenes go wrong because you were laughing too hard?
Yeah, all the time. There was the worst. I think the worst time it happened was when we were in the room of requirements scene in the 5th movie. So it's when they basically found out where the room of requirements is and they're about to break in. And you've got all Dumbledore's army watching, and the camera was slowly panning across. And at the very end was James, Rupert, and myself. And it was panning across, and you'd hear one of us start to laugh. And I had to reset it, and so it wasn't even funny by the end of it. It was just tricks into your head to do it. But because that scene had lights from both the ceiling, the floor, the ceiling, mirrors all around, it was also one of the hottest sets to film on. And when you're wearing a sweater, it's quite a long thing to start laughing. And, yeah.
How often do people call you George or Fred when they see you in public?
Yeah, fairly regularly. They call me other things as well, but I wouldn't say that's complimentary.
Like handsome?
Oh,
Like
yeah, of course,
handsome?
yeah. Quite often, really, yeah, or Weasley or something like that. Yeah.
On average, how long did it take to film one of the Harry Potter movies?
So, for principal photography, probably about 9 months. So there'd be pre-production before that, and then there'd be post-production after that. So probably in total it was well over a year.
And then you had marketing and all of it.
And there's the promo stuff and everything like that, which was just as cool to do it, because you see, when you're filming these things, you're in a goldfish bowl. So you don't know who's going to be watching it, where it's going to be seen, who's involved in it. So it's quite nice on that side of it as well, so you see both sides.
Nice. What is the most unusual thing anyone has done in order to meet you?
There's been some funny guys. Like there was someone who changed. I actually took my godson the other week to see Disney on Ice, and we had like a meet and greet thing. And one of the people there, one of the people who were actually skating, actually traded 2 days skating to be on the meet and greet panel to meet me type thing. So that was quite good. Whether it was worth it for them to have to work 2 extra days, I don't know, but yeah, stuff like that was quite cool.
I think we all already know the answer to this question. How did you like playing the troublemakers in the films?
It was really tough. No, it was awesome. It was awesome. I think if you're, especially like when you're on set and you can have a bit of a joke because you're in character, you can get away with a lot more things.
What actor in the Harry Potter films did you learn from the most?
I don't know if there was one in particular. It was so cool to be able to just get advice, and now's the thing with all the older actors in the films, is that they were so well established in British cinema and TV that you could see these guys who were like BAFTA or Oscar nominees or winners and actually get advice from them. So I wouldn't say there was one in particular. It was just a fountain of knowledge to be able to go to.
A really awesome classroom that you had.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were getting paid to be there, which was
It was
really
the best.
cool.
It was the best time.
How did you and the other cast members motivate each other while you were on set?
I don't know. I think just because everyone wanted to do the best they can, and when someone else is putting in effort, you have to raise your game. So you don't want to be outshone by anyone. So you always try to stay with it.
Have you read the books?
Yes. I don't know what you're cheering, but I probably have to. Yeah.
And if you have, what scene do you wish they would have included in the movies?
Of all of them, the one I wish they put in was in the Goblet of Fire, was the swamp part with Fred and George. I remember reading that, I think that would be awesome, but in the first film, the guys in production basically broke it down that unless it's bringing Harry's journey forward, we don't have time to put it in. Which kind of makes sense, but in a selfish way, I would love the other one.
When filming, I'm going to add another, other than your brother, who was your favorite Weasley? I mean, you can say your brother.
No. I'm filming. Yeah, Ron.
Ron? You guys can cheer for that. You know you like Ron. What was the best and worst day of filming?
Best day of filming. There was a lot of really cool days, you know. I suppose the best day was probably the Christmas scene, the Christmas Day ones, in the Great Hall because it was all decked out with festive stuff.
Did you get to eat all of that food? Was that food?
Yeah, but that's when it turns into the worst day, especially the Halloween days, because you get on set and there's so much ice, there's icing, there's chocolates, all sorts of stuff, and there's little white chocolate mice, all these things everywhere. And the guys, okay, so we're going to start on first take, rolling action. And you can see the guys who were first to this because they were literally nom, 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 as much as they can. And then you look at the main table, like the head table where all the teachers are sat. And again, this really goes back to these really well-established actors. And they're literally taking the tiniest bite. What are they doing? What are they doing that for? By take 30, the last thing you ever want to eat again is a nice sweet. And then the older actors are like just winking at you. So worst day would probably be that one as well.
You learned something very valuable that day.
Yes.
What was the coolest special effect?
There was a lot of cool ones. I mean, I suppose it's got to be the Quidditch, because you see how, especially as we were filming, the technology developed as well. So when we first started, you were literally on a tiny little bike saddle, which wasn't very comfortable at all. And then by the end of it, it was almost like a horse saddle. It was a lot more comfier and you could do a lot more stuff. So yeah, probably the Quidditch, I'd say.
This is the last question I have. No! That doesn't mean we're going anywhere.
Yay.
For 5 more minutes. Okay. So just answer it in the longest way possible.
Really slow.
Were you always interested in acting growing up?
No. I've got my best friend.
Maybe he knows how to floss.
No. I'd say it was kind of I think growing up where I did, it was never on the radar to do this type of thing. We did like drama at school and things, but never thought about it more. If anything, we were kind of discouraged. The drama teacher at school actually said, don't bother doing it. Because in the UK, when you get to 14, you have to select subjects to take on to do later. And the drama teacher actually said to James and myself, I wouldn't bother doing drama. So I loved rubbing it in either that guy's face or anyone else who agreed with him at the time, what actually went on for that. But then once you start doing it, it's such a cool thing to be able to do, pretending to be somebody else for quite a while. And it kind of just takes you in so many cool avenues and so many experiences, which I suppose in terms of life lessons, don't take the first answer you get. And especially if someone says don't do something, even though you think you can do it, why should you listen to that person over yourself?
So there's a tradition that we do at nerd events in Utah, and you've been to one of those nerd events, and you can say no to this if you want to. We take selfies with the audience in the background.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, sure. Can I do it on my phone as well?
Yes, we can do it with both phones. Is that okay with you guys? So this is what we're going to do. Stay right where you are. Don't stand up. We're going to take a selfie right over here. We're going to take a selfie here, here, and there. So 4 selfies. I will put them all together from my phone and post them at B987 SLC on Facebook, and he'll do whatever he wants with his.
Yeah, I'll send it to my mum.
Yeah. All right, so
No,
we're
put it
gonna
on
start over here. Are you guys ready? One.
Sorry, wrong one.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Alright, I'll do one. It's gonna be.
Okay, are you guys ready? All right, 1, 2, 3. Nice.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna do a wide one so it gets a bit more people in. Okay, so we're going that way. Cool.
The whole time, right there.
Oh, wicked.
All right, are you ready right here? Here we go. Nice. And right over here. Nice. Let's give Oliver a round of applause. Is there anything else you'd like to share with Utah
Yeah,
before you leave?
just a huge, personally, thank you for everyone coming tonight. It never gets old doing anything like this, you know, seeing everyone's being so excited. To me, it's such a cool thing to do. And yeah, just have a happy holidays and yeah, stay safe everyone, stay good.